Where is he? There he is. Hey Rambo, why don't you tell the people why you're wearing this little jacket deal, huh? Because someone had surgery on their stomach because he had a clogged exit door. Yep, someone decided to eat corn on the cob. The cob. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a good day wherever in the world you are. You want to see something funny? Watch this. This is how we have to get him in the kennel.
Mango.
Rambo. Rambo, come here. Oh yes, follow the mango. Come here. Got him. Oh. You be good. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe button because I have a ton of stuff coming up with like 3 different projects. So if you're new to the channel and you like car stuff, BMW stuff, S2000 stuff, possibly forced induction stuff, just smash the subscribe. So today what I have for you guys is actually twofold. One, I wanted to go over everything I've done to my, I was gonna say E36. This thing, I was working on that the other day. Everything I've done to my AP1, my 2001 Honda S2000 during lockdown. So if you're new to the channel, I bought this thing with a blown engine, and my initial plan was to do one mod, take it to a track that I always go to, set a lap time, do another mod, take it to the track, set a lap time, and just continue that to see how it progresses. Well, COVID happened and basically shut down all the tracks around here, so I wasn't able to do that. So what I decided to do was just build the car during lockdown, knock as much of it out as I can during lockdown, and I basically got all of it done besides the big thing. There's a huge thing. Now, replacing the motor was kind of a big thing. New clutch, all that stuff. That was kind of a big thing. I'll get into what else I had to do. But there's one giant thing, and that is right over there. See that? Turbo manifold. Now I'm going to get into the story of the turbo kit after I tell you everything I've done to this car, because I need to tell you that so you can help me kind of figure out a problem that I'm having. Not necessarily a problem, but I want to get your guys' input on it. And before I go into that as well, keep in mind, this is the 2008 E92 M3 that I bought for just over 10 grand. That will be the next project car. So right now I have the E36, the S54 swap to E36 as a project car, the S2000, and the E92 M3 as a project car. That one I'm waiting to start on because I want to get this done. But again, that has a lot to do with what we decide today. So let me hop in this, get to a better spot to film so I can show you everything I've done, and we'll go from there. All right, so if you guys are new to the channel, I bought this car for a little over $4,000. And it had been sitting in someone's driveway for about 3.5 years. Had a blown motor that was taken apart, not organized in any way. Get out of the neighborhood here. It was, the valve cover was taken off of it, the header was off of it, cams were rusted, parts were in a bag. Actually, the cams were out of it, rusted. It was just a complete mess because it was taking on someone's project that was started and completely unfinished. It was just horrible. And if you've ever started on someone's like halfway done work, it's kind of a mess because you don't know what they did. So I basically took the motor out, ordered a not a brand new, but ordered a used engine, and somehow I got lucky enough to find a stock F20 with right around the exact same mileage. It was close to the same mileage as my car. So the car has 93,173 right now. The engine that I bought has right around 92.5 on it. Almost the exact same, which is really nice because that way you don't have to remember the exact amount of miles that the engine has as opposed to the chassis, like my E36 M3. So, first thing I had to do was get the car running. But easier said than done because this thing had been sitting for so long. So we'll just go through what I did. I'm not going to give you the breakdown on everything I had to do to get to those points, but replace the engine, new clutch, FX 350 clutch, new everything that goes along with that, throw out bearing, release bearing, or pilot bearing, rear main seal, everything like that has been done. Then when I got that all put back in, I started going for performance stuff. So I did suspension, I did HKS Hypermax coilovers, which they're great, by the way. They're not super expensive, but they're not the cheapest either. But they feel great. They're not super stiff. They have a ton of adjustability, and so far they're awesome. I haven't taken this out on the track yet, but they feel amazing. Oh yeah, VTEC baby. So, did the coilovers. Then I went with the spoon brake kit, spoon monoblocks, and I replaced the rotors, pads as well. It already had stainless lines on it, so I did that as well. Or so I didn't have to do that. Then Motul 660, I believe, RBF 660 brake fluid. Because again, my initial plan was to track this car. Oh, what are you doing, amigo? So initial plan was to track it, so I basically got it ready for tracking. And my initial plan with this has always been to supercharge the car. I've always been a fan of superchargers, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So, did the brakes, did the suspension, then I did all the fluids as well. I did trans fluid, diff fluid. I did new motor mounts. Obviously, I did spoon diff mounts, which they feel awesome. Spoon diff mounts. Then, since the car had sat for roughly 3 years, when I tried to start it, it was having fueling issues. Come to find out, the fuel tank was full of gunk, and I mean, like, it almost looked like mud. It was bad. So it was full of this mud-like stuff. So what I basically had to do is drop the rear subframe and drop the fuel tank, get the fuel tank professionally cleaned, or spray like carb cleaner through the entire fueling system. So I cleaned the fuel system, had the fuel injectors cleaned. That took a couple weeks, and that's just overall just kind of a pain in the butt. Dropping the rear subframe to clean the gas tank is just kind of a pain. So once I got that back up and done, the next thing I wanted to do was an exhaust on the car. Now, if you watch my E36 build, I'm not one for a mega loud exhaust, as you can tell from the cold start. I've had loud exhausts in the past. They're good, I understand them, I get why people do them, I get the power gains. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a little older than most of you guys, but I just don't want a 70mm J's Racing single exit, wake up all my neighbors, have a headache, have massive drone. I'm just over that point. I don't want that anymore. It's annoying. So the Dream exhaust was a Mugen exhaust because I know that has no drone. But if you've looked for the Mugen exhaust, you'll know they're dang near impossible to find. And when you do, well, you can order them from new. So you can order them from Japan and you can buy a new Mugen exhaust. But with that being said, the wait is like 3 months at least. And they're not cheap. And shipping is roughly $500. So the exhaust is like $1,400 plus $500 shipping, plus a 6-month wait time. It just ends up being a lot more than I really wanted to deal with. Place is busier than I was expecting. Thought no one would be here. But somehow I ended up finding a used Mugen exhaust in amazing shape, roughly 2 hours from where I live. It was actually down in Houston. So I went and picked that up, and I got super lucky on that because, in my opinion, the Mugen exhaust, it's not loud by any stretch of the imagination. It sounds really, really good, but if you're looking for something that gives it like presence, on throttle it does, but it almost sounds, it's like a barely more aggressive factory, to be honest. I'm gonna do an exhaust video on it. I still love the way it sounds. If you're looking for something aggressive, it's not the system for you. All right, so a couple things I forgot to mention were I did do the airbox mod on the factory airbox, so that is done. I did buy Skunk 2 Alpha headers, so that is done as well. And you know, just everything you have to do when you do an engine refresh, fluid flush, all that stuff. So that has all been taken care of. Spoon brakes. Next thing I had to tackle was the soft top. That is a brand new Robin soft top, and you probably saw my last video, or maybe you haven't seen it, but I replaced the soft top. Not something I would suggest doing. That sucks. It's a miserable job. Also, I found a brand new inbox AP1 front lip. That is going to be getting repainted because it doesn't match that well right now, and I have the color that actually matches. I went back to the paint guy, showed him everything. He saw it, because initially what I did was just bring him the lip in a box and told him my paint code. I didn't know there's like 10 different variations of one paint code. So I brought him the car with it installed. He looked at it, he's like, yeah, that doesn't match very well. So we know what variation of this paint code to use to get that to match. So that will be going back to the paint shop to get color match. I totally forgot about interior stuff. So when I bought this car, it actually has a pretty good interior. The seats, everything like that were pretty good from where I got it, but I hate the AP1 console. So I replaced that with an AP2 console. Then I got the CR floor mats, CR shift boot, CR shift knob, and the AP2 radio cover as well. So for me, this is pretty dialed as for interior. Not much else I really would like to do to this besides maybe a Cusco cage would look dope. One of the things I forgot I did, install the new Alpine CD player, new door speakers, and speakers behind the seats as well. Just wanted to throw that in there because I forgot it. Now, like I said, my plan has always been to go forced induction with this, but it was always been supercharger. So with that being known, when I dropped the fuel system, I also did, what is it, full blown's 340 fuel pump, I believe it is. So I have the fuel pump to go forced induction. I also have 1000cc injectors for forced induction. They're not installed because I don't have this tuned. It's a stock motor. You don't want to put big old injectors on a stock motor without a tuning capability or just in general. So I do have 1000cc injectors. I have the fuel pump. The exhaust, I know some of you guys might say I don't have the exhaust for forced induction, but I'm not shooting, and I never have been shooting for 500, 600, 700 horsepower. My goal has always been like 350 to 400, just a nice boost in power, but not to make it undrivable, because this thing weighs 2,800 pounds. Yeah, you can make it 500 horsepower fairly easily, but that's just never what I've been about. Maybe a different build, I will do that. But for this car, I just want a nice pickup in power, and right around the 350 to 400, still gonna be way more than enough for this car, and possibly encroaching, because the torque number will be up there as well. That will be encroaching on the limit of what the diff can handle, and I really don't want to go through and start blowing diffs. But with that being said, so that's everything I've done to this car for the most part. I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing. I picked up a full race Garrett T3 V-Band turbo kit for a great deal. And I showed you the turbo. I believe it's a GTX 3071R. I picked that up for an amazing deal. Now I still need to get a tuning solution. I still need to get a 4-bar map sensor. I need to get gauges. Altogether, I probably need roughly $2,000 to $2,500 more in parts, and then roughly $1,000 for install stuff. Because I want to do the install. I've never done one before, so I found a buddy who will do it for me and let me kind of help along the way. So my question is to you guys, I can sell this right now as it is, non-forced induction, just NA, for probably 15 grand, somewhere around 15 grand. Oh, I did forget. I bought the AP2 wheels, and I'm running 20 millimeter spacers. Corona. I'm running 20 millimeter spacers all around. That's what gives it the wider stance. So again, I don't want to go like wide body or anything like that, but this is the look I was going for. What is this road? So I've set it up for forced induction. I have the fuel pump, I have the injectors, I haven't done any NA mods that are unnecessary besides the header. And the reason I bought that header was simply because I was planning on going supercharger, and you don't need to replace the exhaust manifold if you're going supercharger. But again, I got an amazing deal on a full race turbo kit. It's brand new. Someone bought it and decided not to use it. So the turbo, brand new. Everything about it is brand new. It's still in all the boxes. It's going to take me roughly $2,000 to $2,500 extra in parts to get that finished. I need a tuning solution. I need a 4-bar map sensor. I have the clutch for the job. I have the fuel. I have all that. I need gauges, and then in install stuff, it's just random hoses and bits like that. So it's going to take me a little bit more money to get this thing turboed, but I have the kit. That's the most expensive part. With that being said, I've gotten the itch to start on the E92. I'm not made of money, so the easiest way for me to fund these builds is to actually sell a car to start on the next one. So financially, if I were to sell this car right now, I would probably shoot for getting 15 grand for it. Then I could sell the turbo kit for probably 5 grand. Let's just say 5 grand. Of course, these are, plus or minus, whatever. So that would be 20. Now, say I install the turbo kit. It's going to cost me roughly $2,500 to $3,500 more to get that installed and running. I don't think installing the turbo kit isn't going to do anything for resale. In fact, it's going to hurt resale, in my opinion. It will narrow my buying pool, and I won't be able to ask $20K for it just because it's turboed yet, in my opinion. But that's what I want your guys' input on. The car would be making, again, conservative. I want to do this very conservative if I do it. I only want like 400 wheel horsepower, whatever the torque number is. I don't even want a horsepower number. I want to stay between 9 and 11 pounds of boost. That's about how much boost I was going to run with the supercharger kit that I was going to install. So between 9 and 11 pounds. A conservative amount, tuned conservatively. I don't really care about the numbers. I just want a little more pep than this thing has right now. But in your guys' opinion, do you think it's worth it? If I didn't have another project car to do, I would say, heck yeah, that is going to be so sick. I can't wait to do that. But I am getting the urge to kind of build that E92. But I'm so close to finishing this and having this where I wanted it and where I've been envisioning, the S2000 that I want to be at. So I want to know what you guys would think, what you guys think. Do you think it's worth it to install the turbo kit, take the extra money, throw it on here and say, screw resale, it doesn't matter. We'll limit the buying pool, but it is what it is. Oh, this is a dead end road. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I really want to get your opinion, and I want to know if you guys would find it of any interest in mounting that full race kit onto this car, taking it to the track, seeing how it performs, doing that, and if you're into JDM cars as well. You know, I know I have a lot of BMW guys on this channel that like BMW stuff. I don't always just want to do BMW stuff though. I do love imports, and I plan on buying more imports, so it would be good, I don't know, if I could build that side of this channel up as well. So if you're new to the channel, guys, smash that subscribe. Obviously I have too much coming up, but I think you guys will like either turbocharging this or getting started on building the E92, and I have a lot coming up with the E36 as well. I'm getting the seats back, actually the front and rear, from the upholstery shop, so those will be being done. Those will be done. I have to do a dyno with the new CSL intake, new CSL tune. There's a ton of stuff coming up, guys. So if you're new, smash that subscribe. I will see you on the next video. Peace.